learning episode. It is difficult to know why a person is singled out and victimized by crime. It is something he did. Did an offender choose a particular individual she seemed like an easy target? Or does victimization occur because somebody is in the wrong place at the wrong time? Perhaps there's an element of bad luck or chance involved. But victimologists have developed some theories to explain victimization. Theories are sets of propositions that explains phenomena. In relation to victimology, victimization theories explain why some people are more likely than others to be victimized. But first, let us define victim precipitation. The term victim precipitation describes those rape situations in which the victim actually, or so it was deemed, agreed to sexual relations but retracted before the actual act or did not react strongly enough when the suggestion was made by the offender. The term applies also to cases in risky or vulnerable situations, married with sexuality, especially when the victim uses what could be interpreted as decency in language and gestures, or constitute what could be taken as an invitation to sexual relations. In seeking to identify victim-precipitated cases in police files, we have no objective measures with which to decide upon these cases, as are provided by legal interpretation of homicide. The police dossiers include evaluative statements by witnesses and defenders which give the investigator a feeling that no objective proof exists for what was actually seductive and provocative behavior on the part of the victim. In some files examined, the police interrogator recorded his own evaluative opinion, but there was no consistency in recording such opinions, and we had to rely on our opinion interpretation of the data found in the files. And now that we know the definition of victim precipitation, let us now focus on the victim precipitated forcible rape by MENACHEM AMIR. The crime of rape is not immune from victim blaming today, and certainly it has not been in the past either. MENACHEM AMIR, a student of Wolfgang's, conducted an empirical investigation into rape incidents that were reported to the police. Like Wolfgang, he conducted his study using data from Philadelphia, although he examined the extent to which victims precipitated their own rapes and also identified common attributes of victim-precipitated rape. AMIR labeled almost 1 in 5 rapes as victim-precipitated. He found that these rapes were likely to involve alcohol. The victim was likely to use risk language, and she likely had a bad reputation. What AMIR also determined was that it is the offender's interpretation of actions that is important, rather than what the victim actually does. The offender may vie the victim, her actions, words, and clothing as going against what he considers appropriate female behavior. In this way, the victim may be viewed as being bad in terms of how women should behave sexually. He may choose to rape her because of his misguided view of how women should act, because he thinks she deserves it, or because he thinks she has it coming to her. AMIR's study was quite controversial. It was attacked for blaming victims, namely women, for their own victimization. Going back to the theoretical background, we are accustomed to believe that forcible rape is an act which falls upon the victim without her aid or cooperation. But there is often some reciprocal action between the offender and the victim. In such cases, once the victim and the offender are drawn together, a process is set in motion, whereby victim behavior and the situation which surrounds the encounter will determine the course of events, leading to the crime. If the victim is not solely responsible for what becomes the unfortunate event, at least she is often a complementary partner. Precipitation means quick and hurried action, undue and rush haste. It is a behavior which is clearly differentiated from provocation and outright seduction. If the dictionary definition of precipitation is clear, such is not always the case when a judgment is called for or when behavior ceases to be precipitating and becomes provocative or seductive. It is this aspect of judgment and evaluation which we shall presently discuss. Theoretically, victim precipitation of forcible rape means that, in a particular situation, the behavior of the victim is interpreted by the offender either as a direct invitation for sexual relation or as a sign that she will be available for sexual contact if he persists in demanding it.